for a little while, I was like, nah, bro, they're trying to put your boy behind bars for bongs, and I'm not about it. What's up, everybody? Cewpins here, and on today's video, we are going to talk about how I thought I was going to jail. I recently moved from Colorado to Florida, so I went from a state that has snow and mountains to a state that has no snow and mountains. There's beaches. They have the beach here. So I moved from Colorado to Florida. It was about a 2,000-mile move. I moved in a van with 4 dogs, a cat, and my girlfriend. There's a lot of stuff. There was a lot of stuff. A lot of bodies, not a lot of physical belongings. I mailed most of my stuff, and I didn't bring a lot of things with me. I sold a lot of my stuff, and I plan on just rebuying things slowly. I moved from Colorado to Florida in a van. It was a very long trip. Took about 10 days. We had plenty of stops. I hung out in Kentucky for a few days in the middle of it. We had some family over there, but this is about how I thought I was going to jail. And I had 2 encounters with the police where I really was fearing for my safety. So I'm probably going to break this into 2 parts, and we'll tell the first part in this video, and I'll probably do another video where I tell the second part, because I think this is a longer story. So basically, I left Colorado. I sold all of my belongings. The last day I was there, I literally pulled like my mattress out to the road, and then we like packed up the last bit of our things and then got in the van and started driving. So I left my house in Colorado. I got rid of all of my stuff. I have everything that's mine, everything that I love in this van. My girlfriend, my dogs, my cat, any personal belongings. I have my computer in there. I brought everything with me in my van, and we're driving. We planned on driving from Colorado Springs to about Kansas City area or Blue Springs in Missouri, which is about 9 hours of driving, which I thought I was going to be able to handle. My plan was to knock the trip out in a few days, but because of some of the events that happened on the trip, I really just took the time to enjoy myself and make it a nice trip. But basically, I don't even know. I think it was a couple hours after we left. I think it was actually closer to like 3 or 4 a.m. because of the phone call that I got next. So I get a call from the landlord of the place where I'm staying now, and we had a little bit of an arrangement worked out. I had the place set up before I moved here, and I was actually mailing some of my belongings here, so they were taking them inside for me. I would just say, hey, I got some boxes coming there. All right, cool, we'll go put them inside. So I had some of my belongings or some of my stuff here ready for me or waiting for me. Well, hours after I left, I think it was about 5 or 6 in the morning here on the East Coast, I get a phone call from the landlord, and they ask me like, hey, did you send anything in those boxes that you shouldn't have? And I'm like, well, no. And I didn't. I knew that there's a high chance of, some of my stuff not making it if I tried. I didn't send myself any weed or anything, basically. The landlord basically asked me like, what was I sending to myself? And I'm like, what's going on? Why are you asking me this? And they said, well, there was just 2 police officers at the house where I'm moving to, at this house here. There were 2 police officers knocking on the door at like 6 in the morning looking for the resident of this house. And there is no resident. I'm not there yet. I'm not here yet, essentially. So I'm like, oh, fuck. There's cops looking for me at my house that I'm moving to? Like, I sent myself bongs, tons of glasses, pipes and bowls and rigs and vaporizers and, wax pens. I have a lot of stuff that I just cleaned up nicely and sent over. So in my head, I'm thinking, oh no, I didn't clean something well enough. There's like resin or reclaim sitting in something. They fucking had a dog sniff it out. I didn't know what to think. I thought there was cops looking for me at like 6 in the morning. They don't look for you at 6 in the morning if you're not going to jail. They don't look for you. They show up early so they can take your ass to jail. So I was like, oh fuck. I'm like a couple hours out of Colorado Springs, but I'm still in the state of Colorado, and I think I'm going to jail. I think I'm 2 hours into my 30-hour drive of me getting to Florida, and I think that the cops are looking for me. So I like, instead of making the 9-hour drive the first day, I literally stopped at the first hotel nearby just to like gather myself, gather my thoughts. Like, what the fuck? I waited till morning time so I could call lawyers and law offices to figure out, do people go to jail for sending themselves bongs? Can I go to jail? Like, I didn't know what to do. So we pulled over to a hotel. I think I had to wait a couple hours to get in touch with most lawyers. It was about 6 or 7 in the morning on the East Coast. So I was trying to call lawyers in that area to get a hold of them. And I called a few, and literally the first lawyer I talked to was like, what time did they show up at your door? And he was like, yeah, they were trying to arrest you. And I'm like, what? He told me, he's like, they don't come early unless they're arresting you. They don't show up early for any other reason. So I was a bit nervous because what else do I think? I think that they have some of my bongs somewhere, and they're like, haha, we're gonna throw this guy in jail. He thinks he can be slick and send himself some glass from Colorado. Nuh-uh, buddy. I didn't know what was happening. So I was very nervous. I didn't know too many of the details of what was going on. I just knew that I sent myself some bongs, and at the place where I sent them, there were cops looking for the resident. So I get a call later from the landlord who mentions to me, she said a while ago, there used to be somebody that lived in this house who had trouble with the law, she said. So I was like, yo, give me any info you can on this person. I want a name, I want a new address, phone number, anything you can give me. So she ends up sending me, I think his full name and his like wife or girlfriend's full name. So I'm just looking them both up. And then I find out that this dude has felony charges. He used to live in this house, maybe like a month or so before I lived here. But I found out he has a felony charge from something that happened years ago. And also he has had issues with paying child support. And I guess if you don't pay your child support, they show up and arrest your ass. And that's exactly what was happening. They were looking for somebody who used to live here, who didn't pay their child support. But it was kind of weird because he hadn't lived here, and I think in over a month, they told me. But this was one of the most, one of his recent known addresses, or one of his known places of residence. So they were looking for him here. But I thought they were looking for me because this place had been open for weeks. I had been sending, some boxes here. I had bongs and boxes and stuff I had been sending for weeks. So that didn't click in my head that it could have been the previous resident. But the landlord made sure to let me know way after that, oh yeah, we remember this guy. He had some trouble with the police. It could be in regards to him. So I ended up looking up his name, looking to see if he had any warrants or any recent arrest records. And I didn't find anything right away. I was very nervous. I didn't find anything right away. I found that he had an arrest a while ago that gave me some hope. I was like, okay, he's been arrested before. He's had trouble with the law, or however you want to put it. So I end up looking, I think hours later in the day, and I looked up arrest records in this area, and I looked up his full name, and one had populated on my screen. They showed that they arrested him that day, and it was like maybe an hour after I was initially looking. So like they didn't find him here, they found him at another address nearby or whatever, and they ended up arresting him later in the day. So when I was looking, I didn't see it, and later in the day I looked and I see his arrest record, and I'm like, oh my god, it's definitely that guy. They're not looking for me. They're not looking for the fucking bongs that I sent myself. They don't give a fuck about that. They have medical cannabis here. It's been legal here for a few years now. They just got flower this year, but they've had other topicals and concentrates and vape pens. They've had other stuff for a little while. So in my head, I was like, oh shit, it's not as cool as I thought. They found my glass. They're trying to put your boy away. So literally a couple hours into my 30-hour drive of moving from Colorado to Florida, I'm just like, nah, bro, 12 is out here looking for me. I can't fuck with that. So it really slowed down my move. I ended up staying in Kentucky. We have family in Kentucky. I ended up staying there for a few days just to cool off. Like this, it added a whole bunch of stress to my trip, because for a little while I was like, nah, bro, they're trying to put your boy behind bars for bungs, and I'm not about it. But we found out shortly after they weren't looking for me. They were looking for the guy that lived here who didn't pay his child support. Fuck that guy, by the way. Pay your goddamn child support or I get fucking scared over nothing. So I did mention earlier, I think, I almost got arrested twice. I have another part to this story, but I'm going to save it for another video because we do have a lot of time on this one. But when I was in Kentucky, I got pulled over by a canine officer, and it was a very, very, very interesting time. But I'll have the whole story on that later. I'll probably just put the whole thing in another video, and we'll just maybe record another video to come out soon. Maybe a part 2 of my move story, because I sincerely thought I was going to jail twice. I was not feeling good about my freedom for a little while. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you check out my other social media in the description below if you haven't already. For my live streams, check out my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Cewpins. We're doing a lot of cool IRL stuff out here, and I should be getting my medical card approved very soon, so we're going to have smoking videos and dispensary hauls very, very soon here. So stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for part 2 of this video, which will be coming out I don't know when. But thank you for watching, and stay out of jail.